Hey, it's Kyle, and I am back with another edition of Midwest Aftermarket News. Now, we've already talked a little bit about the Detroit Auto Show in the last full episode of Midwest Aftermarket News. If you want to check that one out, you can click up here or wherever it is you can click right there. Today, we're going to be breaking down some of the stories that we've already covered in a bit more detail. Now, I want to start by talking about what Ford brought to the Detroit Auto Show. First up, as we already covered, Ford is bringing the Ranger back to the States. Now, Ford halted production on the Ranger all the way back in 2012 when I was 15 pounds skinnier. And despite continuing it in other countries, they finally are going to be bringing it back here because pickup sales are on the rise in the States with the growth and popularity of other mid-sized pickups like the Chevy Colorado and the GMC Canyon. So we can only imagine that the Ranger is going to be a welcome addition to the market. Now, the 2019 Ranger is not going to just be a rehash of the global model. It's actually going to be sporting a slightly different look with specs better tailored to an American market, presumably with an optional ketchup dispenser. Up next, let's talk about the Ford Diesel F-150. And yes, you heard me right, a diesel F-150. Now, a few weeks Ford announced that the 2018 Ford F-150 would come with an optional 3-liter diesel Power Stroke engine. And right now, we're looking at a 250 horsepower and a max of 440 foot-pounds of torque. Now, Ford began dealer orders back in mid-January, and deliveries are expected to begin in the spring. Now, let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Ford announced at the Detroit Auto Show that they would be investing $11 billion in electric cars. That's more than double what they had already invested in that field previously. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't necessarily mean that you can expect a fully electronic F-150 for 2019, but more likely the companies will focus on hybrids rather than full electrics, at least for the time being. Either way, we can't help but be curious as to what that investment will produce. That's all for today's episode of Midwest Aftermarket News. Check back tomorrow as we take a closer look at what's new with Dodge. Can't trust yourself to check back tomorrow, but don't want to miss out? That's easy. Hit that subscription button and turn on notifications so YouTube can do all of the hard work for you. Goodness knows, I like that. I'm Kyle, and we'll see you next time on Midwest Aftermarket News.